Yeah, Coach, coming off of that last game, like you said, improving each game, but drop that last one. How did you like the response from the guys so far in practice and stuff like that from that last game?
Yeah, we were then off Saturday, Sunday, just as the calendar fell. So yesterday was the first day we were back, and like we've done, we got in the weight room with Coach Joe Q, and then we got in the film room and showed some stuff, and then got on the floor and mostly what I noticed yesterday in practice was I thought our spirit and our pace were much improved than even they had the week before. I think with our group there's still a little bit of an unknown. We don't know how this thing's going to go, and so that was kind of our quote of the day of can we still be courageous in those moments, not knowing what the result is going to be, and show up every day, and that was the challenge. And the guys met it yesterday, which you don't get to cut down nets on a good practice and on a Monday in November, but it certainly sets the tone for some of those things, and so in that way, was feeling good about our group.
Moose, big trip to Fayette coming up, but a couple Northern Sun teams. Obviously, from the past, we know how important those matchups are when it comes to the end of the season. Just how exciting is it to have a couple challenges this week?
I mean, I'm excited. Southwest Minnesota State, they're a really good team, really physical. They feed their big a lot, so it's going to be a test for all of us. Jack's got to match up against somebody who's averaging 24 points a game. So, I mean, I'm really excited for this game.
Coach, just embracing that. I mean, we've talked every time I talk to you so far about getting more used to that style and that speed. How do you see that this weekend and talk about that?
It's going to be a battle for style. Just even looking back 2 weekends ago with the NSIC teams and how they were able to stymie that against us, the opening weekend, a little bit to their credit and a little bit to us not being as organized in it that we have to. And so it'll be interesting to see, 2 weeks later, have we, while it's not the same teams, it's certainly the same league, and have we made some strides in that way? And then, like anything, we had obviously the great run on the first game against Shadron that ended up being the difference. My experience is it's very rarely a run like that, but can we steal a 6-2 run or a 4-0 run with our style of play that ends up being the difference, and then battle, in what we hope is the other 76 possessions of the game, what has recently been the other 62 possessions of the game, as far as pace and some of that stuff goes. But learning the value of all of it, both as a coaching staff and as a players, and that the margin is small. We'll be right there, but every possession is going to matter.
Moose, does it just feel like that with this group, that kind of once one of you gets going, you guys can have a run like you did Shadron, and kind of everybody gets hot at the same time there?
Yeah, I mean, I think 1 through 15 of our guys were all capable of doing everything. So, I mean, once one person going kind of picks up someone's energy who's not at meeting the point we need, just like in practice, if someone's having a rough day, and Keeley's been making it a big thing to pick someone up who's struggling, or make them feel like their energy is important. So it's a big thing in practice right now, is keeping our energy high and spirits high.
Against Colorado Springs, Byers came in and gave you some of that energy and had a little spark there in the first half, and seemed like you played well. Talk about his after. I don't think he played the previous game, so how big was that to see? Yeah,
and even after the first weekend, we realized, hey, to play, we're going to need 8 or 9 guys that we can put on the floor, which is a little bit longer, rotation than we've been used to maybe here, and so we're going to stick with it, because the other option is to play 5, and I think just fatigue sets in, and so we're going to keep throwing guys out there, hopefully carving out roles and helping to understand that. But yeah, Javion was the spark that got us back into it. We didn't have a very good start, and that's happened to us a couple times, but Javion came in and not only did he make shots, but he helped to get us organized, and the defense tightened up a little bit there, and so the game is long. It's 40 minutes and it's a lot of possessions, and whether it's a good start or a bad start, just continuing to tell our guys, hey, keep battling, and they did that. Sometimes when things don't go your way, you can drop your energy or you can go individualistic, and that didn't see any remnants of that out of our group, which played a large part in us to crawl back in, and then for a large part of the second half, control that game.
Coach, for this group and groups around the country, I mean, the goal is to cut down the nets at the end of the year, right? But a special situation that we have this year and learning a team that kind of was piece by piece together. And so, large part, yes, the goal is still to cut down the nets at the end of the year, but just allude to some of those small things that you guys are working on in practices that you're still categorizing as goals within this team, things that are obtainable week to week to week. Kind of dive into those things and what you're finding out about this team and who they are.
Yeah, I think, when I first got started, it was really easy to set goals like, hey, we want to make the national tournament, or we want to remain undefeated at home all year, or we want to win 20 games. And we've had teams done things like that. But when you lose the first home game, then what do you do with that goal? Because you still got 3 months of the season. So I think I've learned that all those things are the aspiration, but to get there, it's just so day to day. And to back up and our mind can start, if we're 4-0 or if we're 0-4 or anything in between, your mind can start looking ahead and playing out the best of scenarios or the worst of scenarios. And so, Coach Saban, at Alabama talked a lot about like just the process. And it's so cliche as a coach, but it's so true. Like, it doesn't make it untrue. Like, what is the process today? And just writing on the whiteboard in my office when I walk in, right in the middle, how do we get better today? And that's individual meetings, that's group, that's setting the schedule for next year, or whatever it is. Like, what is the process of how we get better today? And so that's what we're trying to focus on, and that's individual plays inside of individual drills. And we'll go for an hour and 45 or hour and a half today. And in that, how many of those minutes can our group be dialed in and just getting better? As boring as it is, I think that's the recipe.